Yo, it's Demonart_4, or Demonart What If. Starting off my art stream with a bit of magic first because I did some building last night, so I thought might as well. I basically just sat with a mate who wasn't really helpful, I'll be honest with you. I don't actually think I ended up taking up any of the stuff that he advised, mainly because he didn't really advise anything other than adding like a few cards, which honestly my struggle was I have so many fucking cards to sort through. Anyway, ain't here to whine, so let's get on with it. But basically, I made a second Suki deck, so just ×2, and then I specialised one of them towards allies. So this is my ally-focused Suki deck. It's got a lot more allies in it. It's got a lot more warriors in it. Mostly different Kyoshi warriors, but allies nonetheless. It's got a couple of things that do bounce off of having allies. It has like Konda's War Banner and Kyoshi's Battle Fan. It's more so to just build up the Kyoshi group as a whole, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, I kept a lot of stuff. I added some little bits here and there. Nothing too crazy. If I just run through, you can see from the sideboard stuff that I've like put to the side. Like I'm no longer even attempting to do the artifact route for Krangutron Warlord. I think that's just a bit too much to go for that. I don't know. I've just removed a couple of things, man. Nothing too crazy. If I quickly change this, oh no, it's not the right thing. I mean, creatures wise, I added back in Avatar's Enthusiasts. I added in Giver of Runes, so that can have a bit more protection, especially early on. What else? I mean, Kyoshi Warrior Exemplars, Warriors. Added in Suki Courageous Rescuer and Suki Kyoshi Captain. I think that's it for creatures. There might be like one more or one less. I'm not too certain. Sorcery wise, I don't think I really changed anything up too much. I do believe I've got either the exact same or maybe like one less. Instances are basically in the same position. I do know that I removed one of my attacking ones and I replaced it with Tivar's Last Stand and Allies at Last, because both of those replace both of the effects of that quite nicely. With Tivar allowing me to have an indestructible and hexproof and increase in counters and stuff, which, well, it's not counters, but it is a +X increase. And then Allies at Last allowing me to do the double attack, essentially having a double strike attack, which is nice. Artifacts wise, I added in Konda's Banner and Kyoshi Battle Fan and Maskwood Nexus. Sorry, words aren't coming out properly. Not Maskwood Nexus is just to allow there to be more ally benefits. Kyoshi Battle Fan is because it's just an easy way to pop off some allies. Because tokens plus it can be taken out quite early as well, which is great. I am a little bit confused on Kyoshi Battle Fan because it says equip 2. Unless you can change who has equipments, that makes no sense to me. Konda's Konda's Banner is essentially just it's to basically bump up anyone with the same creature types or colours as Suki. That would be the plan. Yeah. Plus, since it doesn't specify that it's creatures other than the creature and stuff, all of its benefits also get added onto Suki herself, which means she gets an automatic +2, which is great. For essentially just 4 mana. So, it's nice. What else? Added in, I believe I added in the Legend of Kyoshi this time, because one, great saga in general, with drawing cards equal to power, which really fits in with my Suki deck, and having Suki out. Earthbending as well, which then links into something that happens later down the line, which is Avatar Kyoshi. Lands you control have trample and hexproof, which means that now you have just a bunch of lands that are like little missiles, and you can also tap for mana based on power. So it all works out quite nicely with that Avatar card. I believe I had the rest of that in before, and I removed one of my forest lands. I think that's it. I also removed like a couple of two of the planeswalkers, and I added so much extra bits into my sideboard if I do want to tweak it eventually. I unfortunately have not yet gotten to play this one, but we'll see in the future. I was going to ask my friend to play, but he just wasn't available. No progress on the Back in Time script yet today. Probably after stream, but that's really it. Hold on, while I just quickly move stuff around. Oh god, I'm just thinking about a video I watched recently, and I realised I have retard eyes. It doesn't help that my entire fucking face is like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and has decided to move just. No, sorry, camera versus face is confusing. Like, I'm really noticing it now. But everything's just like, no. But maybe that's just because I automatically put my head slightly at an angle. It's not helpful. I really wish I had a better chair. I want one of those ergonomic office chairs. I don't like this chair at all. I only have it because it was forced onto me, which was kind of weird because when my mama's boyfriend moved in, he just gave it to me at some point once his kid moved out. Anyway, I did not click that. What the fuck? I love how I went off of scene one specifically so that wouldn't be a problem, and I still managed to do the same problem. Let's just go down here. So yeah, I didn't really think before going on today about what I was going to draw. I just was like, gotta start stream. Let's just go for it. I guess, you know what, let's quickly start off with giving him hands, and then I want to expand on his knee. Sounds really weird, but we don't want that. Hold on. We want this one. I do think that this knee should come out a little bit, but what? What the fuck is happening? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Alright, let's just grab that. Yoink. And then, I don't know, like, I lose my mind. Okay, whatever, that works. No, just retry. This has happened pretty much every single stream. I feel like I need to delete all of Critter and then reinstall the whole thing because it's getting hassly now. I don't like getting hassled by my technology. There we go. Alright, let's get down and dirty immediately. Also, I need to find a way to preset it so it automatically goes down to 20 because I liked it 20. 20 is a nice little spot. How do we draw fingers? Hold on. If my hand's like this, his hand is like fully like banging it. So. It just goes straight on, and then we got lift up, down, down, down. Okay. So basically like this, up, and then down, down. Something like that should work quite simply. So let's just go back, grab a new layer. circle, da, down, down, something like that, baby girl. Alright. Whoa, what the fuck did I just do? I thought I created a new layer. Apparently I fucking grouped it. Hold on. Oh, lovely. Lovely fucking job. Alright. You know what? I'm gonna... Because I always could make mistakes in my thing. It's just... Oh no, I did... Okay, I guess we got our... Something like that should work for where I put that. And then we got... That looks about right. So... Nah, there's something off with this one. Hold on. I think I know what the problem is. So that, I think that's correct. It still feels like it's too long. Is that just me? I don't know, I'm talking to myself. Anyway, you know, let's test out my thought process. My theory, yeah. I just make these, like, the front bit of the finger a bit too small as well. It just feels too long. Oh my god, I can't unsee it, that's the problem. Maybe I'll make it in two different ways. I'm going to make one version of it that's long and keep on seeing it if that just fits me stylizedly, or if I should go for shorter. I'm not a political channel, but I feel like I need to mention something about that I saw happen earlier today, which is essentially a person in Switzerland. I know, what the fuck does Switzerland have to do with you? But a woman in Switzerland was, she was assaulted, and the person who did it was either an illegal immigrant or a refugee. I forget which one. But this individual assaulted this woman, and rather than being deported or even being in jail permanently or being executed, this man was put in jail for 3 years. Instead of any of those outcomes, he was in jail for 3 years, and that's it. That's all he got out of that. Because apparently he didn't assault her for long enough. And this isn't a gender war thing, because it wasn't a man. The judge was another woman who for some reason decided that it would be a good idea to do this. And I simply do not understand. I do not understand at all. How can you, as a judge, let someone off essentially easy as shit? I don't know. I don't get it. I truly do not. Nah, too shriveled up. Gotta make it bigger. Maybe it is the right way to go about it to make it. Anyway, I know it's not the most positive story what I just gave, but I think that's absolutely abhorrent, and I think it's absolutely revolting that you could even let such a person continue to exist, let alone in your own country where you're meant to be, like, you're meant to be the voice for people, and you do that. I just won't refuse to understand that sort of stuff. I hope on my life that I never have to see anyone support that behaviour at all. Absolutely revolting. I can't stop thinking about things like that. I truly cannot. They eat away at me. Utterly and truly. Like, not to... Well, I guess this is already a weird topic because I think I can get away with this one, but like, I love women. I think they're great. I can't imagine firstly treating a woman that way, but I also can't imagine how another woman can see that behaviour and just let it go. Just disturbs me greatly. Yeah, there's something off with this finger. It's like it's too thick. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have thick enough fingers. So whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, weird. How about we just rub all this out? Because I think that's all wrong. Hold on, let's just make it. Do you ever start reading something that you realise you probably read years ago, but you genuinely just completely forgot, and you don't even like fully remember the plot? You just know that you read it, and it's like, it feels really weird because you recognise the plot lines, you swear it hasn't been done in anything else, but at the same time it's like, oh, I swear I've watched this before. I had that recently. I was reading this manga about this dude, Otherworld, the whole shebang, and it turned out that one of the things he did to attain his magic was he basically gave away his life, becoming immortal, but because of how integral that is to humanity, it let him just become super OP in basically everything. But you don't know that's the reason why he's powerful until like decently on in the story. And I don't know, I don't remember this. I genuinely don't remember the story pretty much at all. I don't recognise any of it, but I swear I've seen that before, where the thing given up was, well, that sort of life. Okay, let's just move on to the next bit. Oops. I mean, I even have a friend who, oh, you know, I'm not going to go down that route. I'm almost like anticipatorily worried about the day when certain groups of people start rioting, because I know I'm going to be with them. Because if you think about it, like, there's certain times in history where the biggest changes have been made, and it's always when a certain group of people, riot might be the wrong word, but essentially have that moment of just, yeah, things have gone too bad, everyone goes fucking crazy, and it ends in a lot of death. Always the worry of, am I going to be one of those numbers? Am I going to become a statistic in that war? Will it happen 100%? Can never be certain, but yeah, I don't think that looks too bad. I'm just obsessing a bit. Oh, goodness. I've had a long day. And then I see that shit. See that while I'm out on a walk. On a dog walk, and I have to see, oh yeah, this person was assaulted. How pleasant. I shouldn't have to ever see that someone has been assaulted. That shouldn't be something that's happened. I mean, technically speaking, and I say technically because as a man I feel like this doesn't count, but let's be honest here. Whatever I'm thinking right now, more than likely if it was the other way around, it would be immediately considered assault. But I mean, I technically have been assaulted before in the past. Not being airing any details out about that, but I can understand it to like the lowest denominator, and that was already, like, looking back on it, pretty messed up situation. And just imagining it being like, what, 10 times, 30 times more horrid is just, it's makes me feel distraught. I just don't understand how there are dudes who can do that. Well, I take that back. I understand how there are dudes who can do that. The understanding isn't the issue. The fact that they do it is the issue, you know? Same as back when people would be like, I have no idea why a man would ever hit a woman. So yeah, I know, I get why they would hit a woman, but you should never follow through with it. Whatever is going on will always have worse outcomes for everything else around it than whatever you were originally upset about or angry about, or whatever term you want to use for it. Yeah, this one. Okay. Yep. Let's remove that. I think that you should be allowed to lynch someone if they are found to have raped someone. Truly, like, I genuinely believe that. If you've been, but it has to be 100%. It has to be 100%. It can't be done on accusations. It can't be done on minimal evidence. If there is like enough evidence, like half of the evidence, if there's a like equal to half of the amount of evidence that's been brought forth to suggest that it did happen, that it didn't happen, yeah, then I think it shouldn't be done, and I think that should be the case for all like trial death cases essentially. But I don't get why I put this so high. Hold on, let me put that lower. Okay, I'm going to need to spend a minute working on this, I think. I haven't drawn fingers in a very long time. I think one of the pictures I used for one of my videos had really good whatevers, but man, that was a long time ago when I had to like fully draw a hand. So how do nails even look? It's like, and then it's like, I think the thing I don't understand the most is when people who have kids assault kids. Because how can you look at your own child, see that, and be like, I could assault something like this? It also then gets me worried, like, about those mums and those fathers who are with those kids. Like, how can you be near them? Ugh, I know there's whole countries where there's a culture around sending off your kids in that sort of way, not in a arranged marriage sort of way, which is already kind of fucked. But I can kind of see why someone would resort to that, to be honest, given my own no bitches nature. But and now I need to work on the line work. I mean, objectively, you know, I was really happy for. I'm really glad that Tite Kubo made a stand against his friend, who was a pedo. Or not even friend, just colleague, because I know that in Japan that can be difficult. But I mean, I guess if you've got that much motion, then you've got like a little bit more freeness to act on stuff like that. Oh, this one has something off about it. Hold on. I need to rub this whole thing out. I don't know if I just put that to the exact same spot, but yeah. Okay, and then let's think about how do I shade this? I almost feel like I should have done something more with the thing. Hold on, let me just... Yeah, like, yeah, hold on. I don't know how though. I truly don't know how. No worries, I'm just streaming. No, I'm saying I heard you, don't worry. No problem. What if I... Hold on. Something... If we just remove this and just show it as... And then we've got this second one. No. Hold on, I have to change that completely. It has to, like, move around like that now. I think that works way better. I truly do. I've just got to find a way to line everything up. A biggest problem for me is just the tips of the fingers. I don't really know how to draw them. You know what I feel like doing? I feel like just experimenting with it. You know what? Let's do that. I want to experiment with it. I'm curious because I kind of mess with this new like. So I've got a, like that ain't too bad. Do I want to keep this shape or this shape? Yeah, I think I'm just going to go all in on this. I actually really like how this came out. God. Hold on. Which one is it? I need to label these layers, don't I? For real. Oh, it is this one. I don't know why. Okay, well then let's just move back down here. I can't believe that whole event happened in fucking Switzerland, of all places. I remember basically all you learn about is how kind people are in Switzerland, and then you see that and you're like, bro, why are you still kind? Why would you bother being kind to anyone when that sort of stuff happens? And it really is your own people. How can it be your own people who let that? I don't know what part of it I'm most revolted by. Someone who's let into your home country, essentially, harming your people and being allowed to stay, or it's like the same group of people as you who suffer in the same ways being like, actually, you know what, fuck your suffering, and let's set a poor example for the future as well, like all in one. Okay, that should all work. I've now got to figure out ways to put nails in, but that's essentially just oh, I think that looks better. I want it to look good when you zoom out, is also another thing. In terms of how my own stuff is, I mean, it's basically like this. That's kind of how that point is. And then down here there's another thing. I don't really know how to draw that, I'll be honest, so that will be how that looks essentially, with a small one down there. And I guess something like that up here. It does feel like they're too long, but I just like how it came out a bit too much, that's the problem. I think that works. Okay, it's not amazing. There are certainly some things I could use to improve, but Okay, I think I'm doing a little bit too much to this hand. I can't lie. I need to kind of move away from it, otherwise I'll get too obsessed. In terms of the actual trousers, I was thinking of making the knee go out a little bit further, but now I don't really want to do that anymore because I actually like how it looks now that the hand's there. I think the hand being there just makes it better. Um, I do think I went too crazy. I did too much with the lines. I can't lie. I did too much with the lines. Alright. You know what? I'm going to go through all of my things and just mark down what they are. Oh? What the fuck is happening? Oh, it broke. Okay, well, fuck me, I can't do that then. Ah, god damn it. If anyone knows how to fix Critter, please hit me up. For the love of everything. Please. I beg of you. I don't know how to fix this. Maybe if I wish there was like a reset button where I could just, I don't know, reset the whole thing. I don't know, I can't even like use my click to move around anymore. I don't know what I've done. I can't zoom in or out. Oh god. I drew a hand today. Hell yeah. It's still a stream. I'm just gonna do another layer. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a quickly new layer just to mark up what I'm just gonna do some markups. I don't currently not in a position to where I can do anything else, unfortunately. So I think markups is the way to go. I think hand is basically done. At most, I would go back over and just redo the lines, just because I think it's a bit too fuzzy. So. You know what, no, hold on, let me just retry this. I want to change my pen. Oh, whoops. Fuzzy. Okay, oh yeah. That sort of stuff. Okay, just quick circles. Otherwise, I think that's fine. Arm-wise, so is what we're going for here. So what we want is essentially like an armband situation. How does he have it on his lower arm, or is that covered? It's covered. It seems to go all the way down to the hand. So it almost seems like it's probably something like this. And then we've got like that. Something like that, and then because this is like an elbow area, since it's a joint it can't be fully covered, So blah blah blah. Essentially something like that is what we want. Elbow wise, I'm honestly probably just going to cover this part up by a couple flames in some way, you know. Side note, if you want a really cool thing for flames that I found really helpful for learning how to do them, two methods. One is search up search up Fire Force, or something where fire is a main power source, or power system. You can get great tips from that. But another one is, so this is a comic. I made a comic strip. I was really young when I made it. No, I wasn't. I made it for, I think, early A levels or like late GCSEs or something. I still have it in my drawer right here, but it's at the bottom, so I'm not pulling it out because I will rip it. Maybe I'll take it out like tomorrow or something, and I'll show her next stream. But essentially, I love this game called Dead Cells. I have on the Switch. It is if I'm pulling out my Switch, the main reason is I want me a touch of my Dead Cells. I haven't played it in a while. I won't lie. It's been like a good solid year or something. I didn't make like a crazy amount of progress or something. I was on one boss cell when that system first started coming out. Like I only got one of them. I've beaten the game like maybe once, maybe twice, on like 0 boss cells, and then one boss cell I've never beaten it. I played the DLCs. Everything that's free I've played. I definitely am willing to buy the next part once I have some time. Once I feel I'm in a space to play some of it. But yeah, anyway, I love Dead Cells. Amazing game. The main character is called the Beheaded. Now, the Beheaded has 3 different iterations. There is one version of it that looks something like this, which is essentially the version of it that you see there's an animated show for it. If I just finish this, there's an animated show for it. Hold on, I don't know how that looks. For Dead Cells, and this is how they change the protagonist to look. That's how that looks in there. Then you have 2 more versions, which is one is the illustration, and then one is there's a third one. There's a third one, but there's the illustration version, which is like this, like it's like super artsy, like hold on. You know, for something that was meant to be advice, I did really poorly on this star. But basically what this is really helpful for is just finding good form for how you put your lines in to create like a flame to like really any degree. It's not really a flame because of some lore reasons. It's not actually a flame to my understanding. In the animated series it is legitimately a flame, but in story it's not really. But that, yeah. And that's basically how I drew it in my in this comic strip. I drew it. I had to draw that a bunch of times, different ways, yada yada yada. That's not my best one, I won't lie. I think I've done it better several other times, but what can you do? But yeah, anyway, I think that like just studying how people draw it, how it's drawn in the game, it's really helpful for just learning bits of form and working with different like thicknesses and line weights, but specifically for flames. Like, look at that. Look how nicely that just works out. It can be a bit erratic, so I wouldn't take this knowledge into like anything other than flames. Like, I don't think that this can teach how to, you know, draw people or something, but I don't know. I have the entire model for the Dead Cell character like memorized since I have no idea. I don't know how long I was, maybe like 16. So for about 4 years now I've had it memorized. But anyway, I just wanted to give you that example if you ever had the urge to just get some tips and tricks specifically for stuff like that. That is where I would go if I were you. Just check that out. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we want on that arm. I do think I need to go over this and kind of like, I don't know. I don't really know what to do with this one. Maybe something more like that, have it stick out more to like go this way. That might be the idea that I need to go for. I think make it sharper. Maybe instead of having it be like this sort of vibe. Well, yeah, I get whatever. Sharp. yeah, I know. It has some problems. Maybe change it to make it so it's more like a, I don't know, like this, or it could just be like a solid piece of thing. I don't know. I'd have to. That's something I would need to think about more. I spend a lot of my days goofing off. Although today I did a bunch of stuff for DSA and things like that. But yeah. I should have fucking spoken to them about this, whether I can stream. Well. But anywho, so that's something I need to think about. I think in terms of the actual design for everything else, I mean, I think it's fairly okay. I'm missing a couple things, like I need to remember to include these bad boy lines, which, hold on, I don't know myself. I just drew that as, give me a second. I don't actually have it to connect anything, so there should be one set of lines here, which wraps around essentially, and then it's kind of annoying because and then there's another one which is like something like that. Give me a second. Yeah, and then that is what feeds into that, and then we also have the whole that thing, that little circuit block vein. Got that, and then we need to think about the other arm. So, I mean, my thought process was essentially just to copy what was already there. So, it would look something wispy like. I don't even know how I would approach it, to be honest. How did this guy do it? Oh, okay. Something along those lines is essentially what that would look like, I would say. And now there's also one more thing, which means I'm just going to quickly take a green just to mark this out. But I need to also add in these bad boys. So something. Something like that is essentially what I want there. I think that works. Somewhat. Anything I'm missing? Oh yeah, we want our purple lines down here. Well, they're going to be blue, but we want our little lines down here just to indicate that. Shoes white. I don't believe I ever chose what shoes he was going to have, so that's still up in the air. Goodness. Is there anything that I haven't thought of yet? Let me just stare at the page for a second and just think. Alright, feet when. That needs to be stated. So, off of my checklist, we can't show the back. I figured out what I was missing. Okay, so first off, this line is in the wrong position. It's going to have to get moved. It needs to be higher, essentially. So, like, basically this entire thing needs to be moved up. No, hold on. Let's choose yellow. And let's make it a little bit thinner, just so all the details can make sure that they are fine. Yeah. And then we need to add something else, which is underneath here we need my little butterfly things, my butterfly tat for bleach. So it's essentially like, hold on, let's do it on this side because it's a bit easier for me to work with. Something like that, essentially, but bigger. Yeah. Hold on, like double the size of that. Give me a second. Hold on, I need to make a new layer just because I want to 100% have these things down. Oh goodness, how big do I want them to be? So on the torso, that's how big I wanted them. They're fairly big, especially because he's sitting down. They come off even larger, I would say. Yeah, but then the problem now that's created because of what I just did. Hold on. Let's just go back. Oh, I can't remove that, okay. So, problem here is basically on my little sketch, and now it's not like my main thing to follow, but it's kind of the same on all things, is essentially this is the barrier. It has to be something like that, essentially. Something like that is kind of what I want. probably. Oh, but I kind of want it to be higher. That's the thing. Like here. No matter how high it is, it seems that like the thingy, the little red line, it seems to go like this. No, this one's wrong. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, goodness. There's so much to go through, man. I think that's correct. I think I've got it now. There's a little bit to do. There's a little bit to do. I've done basically like the main body, the torso, like the mainish area, and we're kind of ready to go to the next stuff. Oh boy, is it going to be a hassle. Let's just quickly save that just to make sure it's done and dusted. Pit stop. Can I not do fill-in? Okay. Well, I wanted to show an idea, but I guess I can't. Sorry about that. You know what? Let's just quickly. It's just that I want this space to really. You know what? Fuck it, whatever. We're gonna get like a really tiny like area. We're gonna go like size fucking 8 on this area, and I just saw something online which I like the idea of. So someone was talking about lightsabers plus Zanpakuto, because kyber crystals are basically alive alongside the whole ideas of the Force, and then obviously the Zanpakuto is made from Nasuichi, which is like a baby soul made from your soul to create a weapon, kind of. That's very laymanistic, but basically, kind of. If you don't think too much, that's basically how it is. And this guy was like, you could fuse the concepts. Imagine like if you had a Zanpakuto which was like somehow combined with the kyber crystal, and I don't know. Now my brain's trying to think how I can make that into a fanfic. There's this fanfic there are these two fanfics I read which I feel like would be perfect for this idea, which is one is called The Reincarnation Tavern, which is all about this guy who's he's in like a competition thing, and it's like a reincarnation between multiple reincarnees, and it's between two different like separate versions of this. So his version is of this like special reality thing is you've got, so his like the main battleground and the main like playing area like near the end of the story is going to be Marvel, but the early free areas are Star Wars, One Piece, and Hunter x Hunter. And in a lot of it, there's lots of exposition, there's lots of stuff to just like fully flesh out these worlds in ways that they haven't been experienced before, because it's a written form rather than just a written and image form. So he can just go fucking crazy on these like designs. He can, and the goal is to teach you. In fact, the character he starts off in Star Wars on the planet Typhon, I believe, or Titan? No, Titan. I think it's Typhon. And essentially becomes a Force teacher. He's like a grey Force wielder, but I think it's done right, like truly. because the whole idea is he's following fully on that whole teaching. He is able to access both the Sith and Jedi side through certain like messing around aspects, and combining that with One Piece and Hunter x Hunter, he's able to like properly manipulate it, but in a way that's like it's not limited. He's not limited in the same way a Sith or a Jedi is, and it's not. I don't think it completely goes against the idea of how things are presented in Star Wars, simply because he has access to other realities, and he himself specifically chose a talent on the level of fucking Anakin. If you don't know, Anakin, also Darth Vader, has like the most talent in the entire verse, other than maybe Luke, and even then, I'm not too certain on that one. It could go either way, to my knowledge. The only reason why Darth Vader lost is because he became Darth Vader, to my understanding. Anyway, great story, but he does stuff with his lightsaber that just make me think of that. For example, his Kyber crystal is fused with the Yami Yami no Mi, being our boy Blackbeard's devil fruit, allowing it to like take on properties of other things, and he kind of goes into like a Wuxia version of the world of how Haki and devil fruits work, where devil fruits are the Dao of the world and universe, and Haki is a different interpretation of it. Haki is like a personal Dao you can achieve, like a fighting Dao or a training Dao, and that's how that's how you create like armament and stuff. And that's different applications of Dao, like how you naturally could do it, and then the devil fruits are like a supernatural shortcut method to perceiving like the flame Dao and this Dao. And he like fuses it into his sword, and it becomes this like weird weapon. And he uses Hunter x Hunter. He's a emitter. No, he's not an emitter. He's a manipulator, and he uses something to create something called the Babylon, which he's been building since Star Wars. With Babylon, he can like create like an area where he's buffed. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. He edits the fuck out of his sword. That was why I thought of this, because if you added Bleach into the mix somehow, maybe he could have done that with his Zatoichi. And then the other thing, the other. Give me a second. The other fanfic is called. It's like Demonic Multiversal Tower or some shit like that. I'd have to look it up because the title's a bit of a handful. You follow the main character. He's called Kai. By the way, the main character, the other one's called Rayleigh. But this one, he's called Kai. He's got like a nickname called the Blood Demon, but in the remake, he gets called Red instead because it was remade after like a year or two of no progress. Because basically the guy didn't get enough attention and then decided to redo it because he was upset, which is kind of funny. But not like I can relate with that at all. But yeah, he in that story, I'm not going to go crazy on the details because that content. This one is like 600 fucking chapters or something ridiculous. Like it might be more. I'm pretty sure it's 700. But basically, in simple terms, you have your set 3 universes that you're most connected to based on where your talents lie. It doesn't matter what universe, like what you brought in with you. It just matters, like, you know. And for the MC, his first 3 worlds, which is what are your like ultimate worlds that are the best ones for you. His 3 first worlds were Bleach, then Hunter, then Harry Potter, and then Pokemon. I'm just trying to remember if I get that right, because there was this weird thing where they made it so that Bleach was originally a hidden thing, so that's like a complete spoiler, my bad. So if you read it, you'll read it as Harry Potter, then Pokemon, then Song of Fire and Ice. I forget what the movies are called. But I can't remember if it was Song of Fire and Ice and then Pokemon, or Pokemon then Song of Fire and Ice, because they were weird with that one. I'm pretty sure Pokemon came first. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong. Anyway, but they have something in that fanfic which I think works perfectly. Like, this is the perfect way to introduce a Asuichi Kyber Crystal bullshitification, which is there's something called multiversal interdependencies. Essentially, you can go into a multiverse. So basically, let's just draw it out. Let's draw it out. I'm on a fucking drawing stream. Let's do this. So think of it this way: you've got this big ass tower. No, let's just do the outside bit as this. So you've got this big ass tower, and this tower, it's split into floors. The stronger you are, the higher you go, and the bigger the space gets. So, for example, this one's like a small town. This one's like a bigger city. This one is like a whole fucking continent. This one's like a planet or a moon. This one's fucking, I don't know, a solar system or a couple planets or something. This one's like a whole fucking galaxy probably, and then it just, I think the most recent diagram I've seen of a universe is something like this. It's like these big tubes like this, but like kind of like cobwebby. Anyway, not important, but the point is that's kind of how the tower in the middle is. And then this tower, what it allows you to do, so you are from outside of the tower, or you could be from inside of the tower. Usually it's from outside. Well, most of the characters we see are from outside. And what happens is you die. And this is solely luck. It's your worth in the tower, it's luck. But yeah, then your soul will go... No, I take that back. Your soul will go into like this timeline pocket. You'll have like your first mission. Usually it's on your own. It's always on your own. It's like this thing where you experience, and then once you complete that, you get to go into the first area. That's kind of what happens. Then you go back out. You go into a different one. Then you go here, and then you go back out. Different one here, and so on and so forth. And if I quickly go back a bit. So basically the way these like little sub pockets work is you have these like timelines. So you've got your, and each of these like tips are like different universes. They're different like realms, and there is a nigh infinite number. They did this whole thing where it's like they're pretending there isn't a nigh infinite number because it's actually like a set amount or some bull fucking shit. But it's essentially nigh infinite. Maybe there is an end to it, but like as a human we can't understand that, so who gives a fuck? And let's say that this one is Harry Potter, and this one is, I don't fucking know. Let's say this one is Fate. This is Fate. Or / Nasu. So essentially, occasionally what will happen is a multiversal dependency is formed. Now this happens completely separate from both timelines, so the timeline is a conscious being, and the timeline really likes multiversal dependencies because they go fucking hard, and they can make the timeline of a dimension stronger. The timelines of the multiversal dependencies are stronger and like cooler and whatever. There's for some reason they want it. They like it because it lets them go outside the bubble and become their own separate thing. So this, let's say Harry Potter Fate. So now in this universe, rather than it being that in Hogwarts they're just learning normal spells, Harry Potter's now a master and he can fucking summon like random key historic figures, and he summons fucking actual Merlin. He's an actual master of the saint system. That's kind of how this works. So now there's now you don't just have Harry Potter spells, but also now you use your circuits to cast as well, and that's like a whole special thing. And because of that, these combinations, you are significantly stronger if you get any skills, and skills are like really hard to come by unless you're the main character, because you're like super fucking worthy and you just are cracked because he made an AI in his skull over 1,500 years or some shit. Like, this guy is cracked as fuck. But yeah, that's kind of how multiversal dependencies work. So, thought process here is, let's say you had Bleach and you had Star Wars. And I know for a fact both of these fucking exist in the story, so this is actually possible in the fanfic as much as I'm definitely willing to make my own one of this, to be honest. And these make their own multiversal dependency. Now, either it's a Star Wars plot, which now has fucking Zanpakuto in it, or it's a Bleach plot, where people now have the properties as... I think it's a lot more interesting if Star Wars characters get Bleach powers, because of how much stronger Bleach characters are, and how much more, like... I feel like specialization brings more to generals than generals bring to specialization, if that makes sense. Bleach has a lot of specialization. As such, generalization abilities like the Force don't really provide much. Because you could probably do the same thing with Ryatsu, but stronger, or more specific. But introducing something like Zampa... Anyway, so now in this bubble, this is our multiverse dependency. Asuichi are now... I know this isn't how they look, shut up. But these are our cyber crystals, and then we've got our, I guess, they look something like this. I don't fucking know, man. Okay, it's these have been fucking, you know that one, you know that Yu-Gi-Oh card? Polymerization, I don't want to spell it. So these have been fused into one, and now you could take your humble... I'm trying to remember how lightsabers look, to be honest. Lightsaber, and it now has a Shikai, and it speaks to you. You're going insane. So what I'd want to do with this idea probably is I would find out what Kyber crystals the coolest, because we know there's cooler Kyber crystals, fit that with a character. Why is my face so wonky? I fucking hate my face so much. But find out which Kyber crystal fits best, and then use that Kyber crystal and the spirit of the crystal and the spirit of the person to create this Zanpakuto spirit, and then you create a Shikai. I don't even know how the Shikai will work, man. I don't know how that would go, because it depends on how Kyber crystals work, because it's been a while since I've researched them, I'll be completely honest with you. My understanding is that they're more like a funnel for energy, which fits with Bleach. It does, it truly does. If you know anything about Bleach, I know a lot about Bleach. I know a lot. Sorry, I'm just moving some stuff on my desk. But while I was rereading, so I've got like a couple notes here. I don't expect you to see it. This is more so for me. But essentially, the way it works in Bleach, if we just, you know, fuck it, we're zooming in further. Fuck it, we ball. So the way it works in Bleach is you have, let's say, nope, you're not allowed to have the same eyes as me. So here we have our, this is called a konpaku. Essentially, this is the physical form of the souls in Bleach. They're called konpaku. Just think of it as a spirit for now. And they have their little, you know, they have their chains and such. That's their little binding thing. And they have something inside of them which I have so beautifully drawn as this, called the Hakusui. So this is like the center of them being a Shinigami, for example. If this is broken, they don't count anymore. Kind of. Like, this is like the... Think of this as the genome that makes you into a... Sorry, this is the... No. Yes. Yeah. This is the genome that makes it so that your energy... No, you are categorized... I'm not sure how this fucking works, I'm gonna be honest with you, because it works alongside something else, which is why it becomes confusing to me. But essentially, the Hakusui works alongside something called the Saketsu, which, as per the name, it kind of feels like an acupuncture point, but it's basically this internal... I display it in my head as this internal funnel, and it basically takes outside Ryatsu and it disperses them specifically as your Shinigami robes, your Zanpakuto. Like, the fact that your Ryatsu becomes these things is due to the Sanketsu. But I guess it's powered by the Hakusui, or it's... Okay. Saketsu is the genome for Ryatsu, and Hakusui is the genome for the Saketsu. If I understand it correctly. Please be patient with me. I barely understand this myself. But what I'm going for with this is essentially, in my understanding of these things, where does the Kyber crystal go in based on this? I like putting them in tubes, okay? It makes sense to my brain. But the Kyber crystal it's its own funnel. So essentially, it becomes like an internal Saketsu for your weapon. Which makes it significantly more valuable, but also would buff the shit out of it. Plus, you've got the fucking force. So you've got breakpoint, you've got the ability to read items and just, like, take them in. I know these are, like, specific abilities for certain people, but nonetheless, I don't know. I think the idea is cool, and I think it can go a long way. Anyway. Let's check what time it is. It's midnight. I forgot. Oh, I forgot what time it would be. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave stream up for this today. I hope you enjoyed the little, like, description of those things and me getting lost in my own thing. I really like the idea. I need to find some time to just, like, write out some ideas for it, because I don't even know how to approach it. I don't know much about the Star Wars comics. I have very limited knowledge on the Star Wars comics. I have some past memory of the Kyber crystals, but I would have to revisit them a little bit. There are like 3 Kyber crystals I actually like the look of. One's like this ghost one, which is fire. I'm not sure how to put it into this, but just saying, that's one of the ones I know. I don't know what's about Bleach. I've watched all the movies other than the Rey ones. I think I watched like the first movie of the Rey ones before it got really obviously was bad. I haven't touched it since like the first movie, to be honest. So we'd have to see how that goes. If you have any like Star Wars comics you think would fit my idea, do send them, because I'd be down to read them and like try and put something together. But yeah, I think tonight essentially what I'm going to be doing is I've got a video I'm watching about Miskiff and stuff. Miskiff is this guy who does gacha advice. I like the dude. I used him for Genshin Impact back in the day, many a year ago, when I last played Genshin Impact. But apparently he's fallen off. I've heard bad things, but my brain keeps trying to tell me it's not the same guy, because this guy always seems so cool. He seemed chill. He seemed nice to watch. Don't want him to be fucked, you know. But yeah. God, looking at this shit's out of my eyes. I can't lie. What is that? Oh yeah, give me advice on what kind of angles as well you want for my videos, because I like for when I'm doing drawing you can see my hand moving around. Maybe you don't like that. I don't know. Also, you know what? No, I should start also moving my face a bit more out like that. but that's something for me to mess with in the future. Yeah, I'm gonna leave. Yeah, let's leave stream off there for today. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna draw anymore. I don't want to do it because I don't like it when everything's breaking, and I want to like fondle stuff. Fuck around with stuff is the wording I was trying to use, but whatever. Fondle works. Anyway, so yeah. Au revoir. Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely day. Whatever it is for you. Good one. Bye. Why did I say that? I can't stop the stream. I'm sorry. You're stuck with him. Rumble is gone. But you guys are fucking stuck. Give me like 5 seconds. I can't even close the software. Hold on. I don't want to restart my computer. I'm in the middle of fucking doing something. Starting to piss me off. Okay, oh. This is what happens, by the way, just so you know. I can't even press stop stream. It doesn't work. Well, I guess I'm just going to turn my computer. You know what, fuck it, we will. Have a good one, see ya. Fuck. It's stopping me from fucking closing the computer. Oh, god damn it.